Okay, so today on Morning Mindset, we're going to talk about fear. Oh, yes, we're doing that. We're going to talk about fear. And we're going to talk about where fear comes from. We're going to talk about why we feel fear. We're going to talk about why we focus on fear. And we're going to talk about how to get rid of our fear. And I think it's very valid right now. How many of you feel fear? I mean, here's the reality. If you're human, you felt fear. You have fear. You know exactly what I mean when I ask that question. Okay, so it's part of being human. And we're even going to talk about the basis of it because we need it in our lives. It's there designed to protect us and to keep us safe. The problem with it is we will never thrive. We will never move to a zone of abundance. We will never actualize. We will never reach our fullest potential if we build our life around it. And if we're not careful, it becomes a very slippery slope, okay? So here's what we have to understand about fear. Fear, by definition, is a behavior that's a result of threat, harm, being hurt. That's why we have fear, okay? Which means it's actually a learned behavior. So we could have had an experience in time. We talked a lot about our experiences yesterday. You could have had an experience in time that hurt you physically, mentally, and emotionally. But what you did is you learned that caused pain. So you developed this fear around that type of thing, right? Or early on, right, as cavemen and women, protecting our tribe and killing bad animals and all the things, right? We were always on guard there to protect ourselves. And so what's happened over time is we're still doing that. And so when we move in this place, we've actually learned fear. So the fear that you have today is a learned behavior. Well, no, Julie, it's not just learned. Like, have you turned on the news? Have you talked to my neighbor? Do you understand the world that's going on around me? No, I understand why you're afraid. But here's the further definition of fear is that it's a result of harm, threat, or fear of, but it's real or imagined. And people say this acronym all the time, you know, like false evidence appearing real. I hated that forever because you're like, no, I'm fucking scared. It's not a false evidence appearing real. It's real. It happened to me as a kid. It's happening right now. I turned on the news last night. My neighbor experienced it. It's real. It's not imagination. Until it is. Until our past or even the things around us that are creeping up so much within us that now everything we look at is through the lens of fear. So here's what you have to understand about fear. It's exhausting. I talked a lot about doubt last week, and we said that doubt is distracting. And the reason it's distracting is because really we're just in a place of indifference. Do I believe? Do I not believe? Do I believe? Do I not believe? And so it's like you're juggling. And so you don't have any ability to look at anything else because you're distracted by your doubt. Well, if doubt is distracting, I would like to suggest that fear is exhausting. And because you're human and probably have felt fear in the last 30 days or are fearful right now, you're like, I'm so tired. I'm exhausted. I know it's exhausting because it's draining and it's depleting because what happens is now I'm on guard. I'm on guard physically, I'm on guard mentally, I'm on guard emotionally and spiritually, and I'm just looking out for me, myself, and my own because, Julia, I have to survive. I have to make sure that I'm taken care of, which is why we're in a scarcity zone, and it's why we're only getting survival-based needs met is because it's the only thing that we can focus on. It's part of the equation. Hear me, y'all. It's part of the equation. And if it becomes the whole equation, if I keep focusing on just scarcity and survival needs, what am I going to get? Only those met. Me, myself, and I. Which is why then I'm going to lash out, or I'm going to make a quick judgment, or I'm going to create biases, protective mechanisms, all the things. I'm not going to grow in any area of my life because I've already decided and I'm completely exhausted and all my energy is towards fear, which means I don't have any energy to put elsewhere. Okay, so let me show you this because in order to trump our fear, we're going to have to flip the coin and look at the opposite, which is faith. My favorite shirt. I wear it all the time. I have to understand what faith is because if I look at the premise of faith, It's complete trust and confidence. Complete. That is an insanely powerful word, and you have to understand it. I think sometimes faith gets watered down because it feels like a pie in the sky strategy. No, it ain't. It's complete trust and confidence. Complete means whole. And as a dreamer, we do things from a place of wholeness. We have to, because if it's not whole, it's half. And I want your whole heart, not your half ass. I want your wholeness. So it means completed trust, not trust sometimes, not confidence when everything's going great, not confidence and trust when things are good and are happening the way that I want them to. That's false trust and confidence. I'm talking about complete faith, trust, and confidence. Okay. So that then means, well, how do we do that? How would I do? Well, we have to understand our basic needs, right? And so Maslow's hierarchy is one of my favorite examples and such an amazing visual for our needs as human beings. And basically, Abraham Maslow created this in 1943 and said we have a basic level of needs that need to be met, and we're very motivated by those. And when one level is met, then we're motivated to go on to the next one. Okay, so let me show you this example. Okay, here is Maslow's hierarchy. So at the bottom of this hierarchy, he talks about our physiological needs. That's air, water, food, shelter, sleep, and clothing, reproduction, sex. Okay, above that, when those basic needs are met, then we need our safety needs met. This is security, employment, resources, health, property. Okay, this tells us that now I have the house, I have the cars, I have the white picket fence, I have the job. All my safety needs are met. I'm in a safe environment. I can trust my neighbors, all those things. Once that is met, then I move into, and I'm very motivated by love and belonging. This is friendship and intimacy. It's a sense of connection. When that is met, then I move up into higher levels of self-esteem and recognition. I'm more motivated by freedom and by accomplishment and by doing amazing things. And then I move into self-actualization, desire to become the most that you can be. It is fulfillment. It is actualization. It is potential realized. Here's what we start to say though, okay? These 2.5 phases up, these immediate basic needs, the power of those is Maslow would call those your deficiency needs, which means when you have those needs met, you actually don't need more of them to feel more fulfilled, okay? When you have them, you then are then motivated, or should be, to go to the next and go to the next and go to the next. And when you get up to these top 2.5 tiers, these are called the growth needs, which means when I have more of them, I want more of them. I crave more of them. When I have deep connections, I don't want more of those. I just want deeper ones. When I start to accomplish things that are important to me, I want to accomplish more because I realize that I can. And then when I'm self-actualized, I start to realize that I can be whoever I want to be. Here's the problem with this chart, is if you keep focusing on your basic needs, you will continue to get basic needs. That's why fear is exhausting, y'all. That's why you're tired. That's why we're not growing. That's why even in the midst of this pandemic, this is what I'm saying. I had a friend say the other day, Julie, you got to be careful what you're saying to people, because some people are fearful. Some people don't have food on the table. Some people have lost revenue. Some people, I get it. I have been $100,000 in debt, fearful for my next decision. I have lived in environments that I was scared about my neighbor. I have come from a place of my basic needs not being met. I had people drop off food at my door as a kid because we couldn't afford it. Okay, I understand it. I know what fear feels like because I'm human. I get it. But here's the reality. If we keep focusing on the things that we fear, only intending to get our basic needs met for me, myself, and my own, it's the reason that we're not going to the next level in our life. It's the reason that we're not completing our trust and our confidence and our faith, is because we are giving all of our energy to our basic needs, and we're not considering that what if, and this is my suggestion to you today, what if I looked up? What if in the midst of still needing money and food on my table and better connection in my marriage and a globe that needs more love than ever before, what if I looked up and I started to develop a trust and a confidence in a compounded belief that says, we can do this. I can do this. I am born to be alive for a time such as this. We should all have abundance in this world. We all is well for everybody. We have to start functioning from a much more actualized perspective so we can create an actualized life, family, community, and globe. Faith and fear, my friends, are just compounded effects. That's what they are. So if you have fear today, it's not just because today you woke up in fear. It's because that sucker has been compounding for the last 90 days, 90 years. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if you have faith today, it's not because you just woke up and it's this trite faith. No, you have faith because you've been compounding that behind the scenes. Faith of a mustard seed compounds. It's like money. Saving money over time, we don't feel the effects of it at first, but over time, we create millions and billions with our revenue, not because it happens overnight, but because we compound its efforts. The same is true with your fear or your faith. It's just a byproduct of compounded efforts, which means wherever I put my attention, wherever I put my belief, I'm going to compound that thing, and it's going to be a result in my life. So here's what I want you to understand today. You have every right to be afraid. There's real things happening in our world today. I get it. But I don't want your soul and your heart to be creating a life from that place. I want you to be aware of it. I want you to understand that there is cause and effect. But I want you to consider lifting your eyes higher to the top of the mountain that you want to be at, to the actualized life, to the possibilities of what your life and your marriage and your career and your community and your globe could look like. And I want to see that the faith starts to rise up in you, the substance of things hoped for. Substance doesn't mean just like the emptiness of things hoped for, the mirage of things hoped for. It's the substance of things hoped for. And I want you to start compounding that sucker because we need compounded faith. You need compounded faith. I need you to look higher. I need you to look up. I need you to complete your trust and to complete your confidence because half-assed trust, half-assed confidence doesn't work in marriages or relationships. So why would it work for dreamers? Why would it work for a career? Why would it work for a community or globe? It won't. It won't work. I need you to compound your faith today by choosing to compound a belief that will serve you. By choosing to look higher and go, if I really was self-actualized, doing the things that were important to me, really connected to myself and God and people, how would I be making these decisions? Look up, create a basis of decision-making from a higher level perspective, and then pull that down into your today. Don't just make a decision in fear and scarcity today because tomorrow you're going to reap that. I need you making a decision that's based upon faith and hope for today. So tomorrow, guess what? You reap that. I know it's hard. Both are hard. Both require energy, a ton of energy. I just want to make sure that your energy is moving you forward and not depleting you. Fear actually shatters our immune system, our cardiovascular system. It totally damages it. Ulcers, even says premature death, side effects of fear, if we could say that right now. Do you know what the side effects are of faith? You can feel it. The side effects of faith are love, commitment, connection. Do you know what the side effects of faith are? Everything you've ever thought possible, the thing down in here that maybe you can't even describe about how your life and career and family and community and world, what those look like, that is the side effect of faith. There are side effects to this. So if you have to come back and you have to watch this video 100 times to reinstate your faith, to reinstate your belief, to become unshakable and to complete your trust, to complete your confidence, please do that. Because your life, your family, your husband, your spouse, your wife, your kids need a complete whole person. I believe in you so much. I know that you were born to do this. I know that maybe some of your basic needs aren't met right now, but the way you're going to get them met is by looking up first. Look up today. And then watch this 1,000,000 times if you have to. 1,000,001. It's a compound effect, guaranteed. Go live faith today.